Idaho Day?
Well, apparently, and I didn't know this, in 1990, the World Health Organization officially removed homosexuality from the list of diseases. Can you believe that? 23 years ago, homosexuality was, according to the World Health Organization, a disease. But it was on this day they officially removed it.
Okay.
In 2004. So Idaho Day is the International Day against Homophobia and Transphobia. And
Now, I had to look transphobia up because I wasn't sure about that, and I did.
Yep.
I looked it up, and it's exactly the same thing, except it's involving transgenders.
Yep.
So people that have a problem with homosexuals and transgenders, this is the day.
So in Newcastle, Idaho Day is celebrated by the Shout Film Festival, which is taking place from today for the next 3 days at the Tower Cinemas. So that's fantastic. So you can go along and see some great movies, shoutfilmfestival.com, or go to the Tower box office, obviously, in King Street. But, you know, I mean, it's great to have these days, and it also brings up the question that some people are still having issues coming out to their family because it's a big thing, especially if their families aren't that in tune with who they are. You know what I mean? If it comes as a big surprise.
You don't want to be rejected. The last thing you want to do is be rejected by your own family. And it's probably something that people will sit on for a long, long time and pluck up the courage to actually go there and this is the talk I've got to have, and it must be one of the hardest things you'd have to do in your life.
Again,
you still want to be loved and accepted by your family, but you're worried that what you're telling them will not necessarily be with their approval.
Yeah, that's some families.
Yeah.
But that's, we thought, being Idaho Day, we'd talk about that with you today. Did you have an issue coming out to your family, or as a parent, were you shocked? And was it hard to accept when your child did come out to you?
And we know that we're not talking about a minority anymore. We're talking about an awful lot of people. So hopefully there are a few people listening who can relate to exactly what we're talking about. We'd love to hear from you. 4942-1029 is our number.
Give us a ring and tell us your story, whether or not you're a person that's come out to your family or you're the family member that's heard the news and maybe a little bit shocked. Julie, good morning.
Hello.
Julie, tell us, you're from Cessnock, tell us about your experience. It's your son that came out to you and your husband, is that correct?
Yes, I'm actually from Cameron Park.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
And how old was your son when this happened, Julie?
He was 19.
Okay.
And he's now nearly 22, so it was about 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, let's start with, were you in the ballpark? Did you know? Did you suspect?
I truly didn't know. I didn't have any idea. A few friends told me later on that they thought he was.
Right.
So it was a bit of a shock. And it was hard to deal with at first. But then you just automatically accept it because you love your son and that's who they are. They can't help it. It's not a choice. And I think it's more the older generation that don't accept it. The young ones are fine, you know.
How did he actually tell you? Can you remember, Julie, the words he used?
Yeah, I can remember it like it was yesterday because I was actually off work sick and he came in and told me. He just said, "Mum, I've got something to tell you. I'm gay." And I just looked at him and went, "What?" and yeah, he sat down and explained. He said he felt like he knew that he was during year 11 and 12 at high school. But he had a lot of young, good school friends that helped him, and then we had the big, hassle of telling his father.
Well,
which was a little bit scarier again, you know.
Well, that's interesting because a lot of people will tell you that not true for everybody, but getting it across to Dad can be difficult sometimes. And how did your husband react? Well,
he was shocked, but within a few minutes, he just got up and gave him a big cuddle.
Right.
And
That's
said,
wonderful.
"I love you, you're my son, and we'll support you, whatever you do." And, I mean, he does drag shows now at Unity Nightclub, which was another big stepping stone for me.
Yeah.
But it's fantastic what they do in there. It's you really need to go in and have a look because the drag queens of Newcastle, they just put on a fantastic performance.
Yeah.
And it's a great weekend in there, it really is.
It would have been like the massivest weight for your son to have lifted off his shoulders once he told you and your husband?
It was. He said to me, he said, you wouldn't believe how happy I am.
Yeah.
And he was a different child straight away, you know, and I know there's a lot of people out there that can't come out and tell their parents, and it's very sad, you know. I feel for them.
It is sad, Julie. Did it all you feel like, gosh, I wish I'd known earlier, or I wish I'd sensed earlier, so I could have made it easier for him?
Yeah, I felt bad because of the fact that he was doing year 11 and 12 at high school.
Yeah.
And that was my first comment was, oh, you poor bugger, you know, going through all that. So, yeah, I did feel that I wish I had have known. But I was proud of him because he was only 19 and actually sat down and told, you know, myself and his father.
Yeah.
And, but, yeah, all his young relatives, his cousins and even his straight friends at high school, they all accepted it, and yeah, it's quite lovely to watch.
Beautiful.
That's a wonderful
Good
story. Yeah, great story, Judy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I'm sure you'll be supporting the Shout Film Festival, Julie, will you?
Well, yes, we will be. We all support Unity Nightclub, so
Good on you.
that's out. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Good on you.
Okay.
Thanks for chatting.
Thank you.
That's a really lovely story, isn't it?
It is too.
Everything ended up perfectly for
All right.
everyone.
So that's the message today, Shout Film Festival, to support IDAHO Day.